Welcome to Housing for Good, a podcast dedicated to housing topics and issues affecting our communities in McPherson County and beyond. With years of experience and expertise, hosts Chris Goodson and Karolyn Moore discuss housing challenges and opportunities with other experts from a variety of housing fields.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Housing for Good. I'm Karolyn.
And I'm Chris.
So, Chris, we just came from probably the best housing conference we've had yet. This is our fourth year.
It was amazing.
Such a good turnout, such good conversations, and really great speakers. And we're joined today with one of those speakers.
Yes, introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about your background.
Okay, well, thank you. My name is Senator Mike Fagg. I live in El Dorado. I've been married for 49 years to my high school sweetheart.
Wow,
good job.
that's
Got
awesome.
3 daughters, 4 grandkids. Was in banking for 47 years, community banking. I actually finished my last 20 in Andover, but I lived in El Dorado and drove back and forth. So that's kind of who I am and where I come.
So what got you into running to be a representative for the state?
I was asked. That's what I would say.
Okay.
To start with, I was the mayor of El Dorado for a while, and that's a whole different game in itself there. And you can be proud of who you have for a mayor here. You know, I stand back and watch these things.
Yeah.
He cares about this community.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he does care.
but I got a phone call one day and said, "Hey, Mike, would you consider running for that?" When COVID hit, that's when I had a little shoulder problem. I thought, 47 years is probably time to slow down and go fishing with the grandkids. And I got this phone call and said, "Would you consider running for the Senate?" And I said, "Oh, no, I've got plans." I hung up laughing, talking to my wife. And a couple days later, she said, and I'm going to try this again because I know that you care for people and you like going out and making a difference and being part of a team and doing good things. And she said, "You're going to get tired of fishing real quick." And so I said, no. And then finally I did get a phone call from some people that says, "You don't know us, but we know you, and we're one of the larger PACs in Kansas. Would you consider this?" So I thought, I hung up not laughing at that point, and I said, sometimes God likes to talk to you.
Yes.
And I felt him knocking on the door at that time, and I didn't want to end my life looking him in the face, so I gave you an opportunity and you didn't take.
A lot of times in my life, when you hear it 3 separate times from 3 separate places, that's kind of like the Lord saying, "Are you listening?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the last one.
So you were in El Dorado.
Yes.
And you served in the Senate there.
Yes, for one term. Now, District 14, actually, El Dorado was the northwest corner of that, and it went to Waverly, into the Oklahoma border, and back around and edged around Ark City and Winfield.
Okay.
So 10 counties.
So now what are you doing?
Well, it's like 4.5 counties. So got McPherson, Marion, Chase, Greenwood, and the northern half of Butler.
So redistricting.
The redistricting.
That they just did.
And why they did that was because of population change. So every 10 years they'll go in and they'll look at population, and then every senator has like 75,000 people. And on the 75, southeast Kansas was losing population, so they had to push west, and that in turn had to push me west.
Okay.
So now the chairman of this was Senator Rick Wilburn. So
yes.
He lost his seat, basically.
That man's a statesman.
Yes.
I'm telling you, because what happened was, as he did this, both of us was in the same one. And I had some people acting a little funny for a day or two. I hadn't seen the map. I was too busy. and he called me and said, "Hey, could you stop by my office?" I said, be happy to. And he said, "Now, you and I's in the same district." And I said, "Yes, sir, I do. And it's been an honor serving here." That was my
You were
answer
just
to
going
him.
to step back.
And we talked a little bit, and he said, "I've been watching you," and he said, you're the one that will do a great job serving this area. And
Wow.
He's at like 79 right now, kind of thing. So, And then with what happened to Les, you talk about how the turn of events are. Who would have ever thought that would happen? Because Les is a great guy.
Yes.
Did a lot of good work. And when that happened on a Friday, somebody like Monday at noon was the deadline. So who do you have do that? Well, this opened up where Rick stepped up. So he went from the vice president of the Senate to a freshman representative.
Oh, that's going to be a change.
Well, we're giving him a hard time. But
that is going to be quite a change for him.
But he likes doing this kind of stuff, too. And for 4 years, I can't tell you, you get a lot of those old guys that's been around, because I never went through the House. A lot of times you go through the House and then the Senate, and they call it house train.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, I go straight into the Senate, and a lot of these older guys took me under their wing.
Oh, that's incredible.
And you kind of learn from that, that you get in this debate and thought, well, why is this going? You get a tap on the shoulder, and they take you to the back and says, no, Mike, 5 years ago, here's what happened. And that kind of background stuff can really help you.
Yeah. So you were saying at the conference earlier when you had your little time to talk with everybody about the fact that you're getting ready to begin a new session.
Yes.
And you don't really know yet what those things are that are going to come up, the issues that you're going to have to help decide what to do about. What committees are you serving on?
Okay, right now, I start at 8:30 every morning during session with agriculture/natural resources. That goes for an hour. And then at 10:30, I go to financial services/insurance, and I'm vice chair of that. So that was kind of my learning thing. And then I was on utilities. The day before Thanksgiving, I got a phone call that says, next session, you're going to be the chair of utility.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
I go, oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm also on Ways and Means.
Okay.
So
I'm curious about which one is most difficult. Do you find one more difficult or more like where more people are engaged? Or these committees don't sound like something that regular people would be connected to or engaged in?
So the banking part of it, financial services, I find after 47 years, because a lot of times I'd never met the bank commissioner. Well, now he comes to this committee, and this kind of tables turn here a little bit. And then utilities, I'm like an old dog with a new bone with that. And I'm learning something every day on that. And that is a very important thing for Kansas.
So utilities would be water? What is water?
Water, electric.
Okay.
Gas.
Gas.
Yeah, anything that would be
a utilities, phones, cell phones, anything that falls
Wind.
Yes, that's under electricity.
Okay, yeah.
So some of the things that I've got to do with that has just been, right now I'm on what they call the Energy Council, where they take 2 senators and 2 reps from 14 states, and every 6 months they meet at different places. And so what will happen is they'll say, okay, what's the 10 biggest things that the United States is looking at on energy today? And once we decide what that is, then at the next meeting they'll have speakers on each one of those issues.
Oh, that's awesome.
That really is. So as you sit down and you get to meet some of these people from other states, you can call up and say, well, Mary, what are you guys doing about this? You got somebody that you can talk to that's not in the fight, just to kick ideas around and see the possibility of what you're doing. So
now at the conference, you talked about a couple of trips you've taken to see what's going on in that area with energy.
Yes.
Utilities. So where have you gone?
So about 6 weeks ago, I get this email that says that the state or the government of Denmark invited me, and I thought, oh my gosh, how did this happen?
Is this a fake?
Well, that's
email?
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
But I kind of have an idea who it was that put my name in for this kind of deal. So,
okay. Was it a friend or a foe?
Well, I don't know. I'll have to ask her. But she's very involved with energy, utilities.
Okay. That's a real big one for our housing. Utilities is a big one.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think so. Water and all of that, because some of our communities are reporting they can't expand because they don't have basic utilities for their communities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get this email, and I read it, and my wife was sitting there and said, here, read this. And she read it, She said, well, you're not going without me. So the government of Denmark paid for this, and I paid for her. So the state didn't pay into that thing.
Man, you think anybody will invite us to go to a foreign country and talk about the cottages?
So anybody listening right now, Chris and I would come to another country to talk housing with you.
Yes, we would.
But be willing to get on a bus at 8 o'clock in the morning and have your clothes packed, because you're moving every day, and you get done at 9:30 at night, so you come home tired.
We would do it.
Yeah, that would be fun.
So was there anything about energy, the utilities in Denmark that stuck with you that's different than here?
Well, I come home. The other thing before I answer that, I also, a week ago, went to the state of Wyoming.
Okay.
And the government, or the state of Wyoming, paid for that trip, and I went by myself. So I go out and look at coal, what they're doing, because we get a lot of coal shipped in here. I did not realize how much coal comes to Kansas.
Yeah.
And seeing where it starts and how it heads this way. And then the one I went to last week was to Florida, and that was to look at the Florida Power and Light stuff that they have down there. So you're kind of getting a feel of what other people are doing and that kind of thing. But the Denmark part of it, I'm sure they were trying to sell me on wind. That's what I was
sure.
Yeah.
They're not a big proponent in our county for wind.
Well, I understand
at
that.
all. They are
I
not.
understand
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But in my job, you got to listen to everybody. And
absolutely.
In order to get in a good conversation with that, you have to understand
Yes.
Yes.
the other side.
Yeah, absolutely.
That kind
I
of thing.
100% agree with you.
Yeah.
I was just making a comment that there's
Sure.
some. Yeah, and I've seen it. Marion's got lots of wind.
They do.
Marion County's got some
Yeah.
in that north quadrant up there. A lot of wind up.
Yeah.
A lot of wind.
When we
stuff.
when we go to Ellsworth to go bowling, there's a whole field that you can see the blinking lights on top of them, and off in the distance you see the blades, and so there are some areas that are really embracing that.
Yeah. Did you see anything that you thought, this would be really cool for Kansas? I'd love to do this here. I mean, something specific that
Now you're talking a guy that hardly gets out of District 14.
I know, but I mean,
I've seen all kinds of
You've been
things.
to Denmark, you've been everywhere, so I just wonder if
they had a phone booth. You know how our old-fashioned phone booths, except it was all glass, and you had your phone. That if you wanted to have a private conversation, you'd go in there and you'd see somebody standing there talking on their phone. Now that hit me kind of funny.
That is funny.
They had a mobile office that would pull up in front of your business that was on the back of a truck that was all glass and had a table and chairs in there where you could have a meeting. If you needed a meeting spot, you call these people up and they pull up to your place.
Okay, I'm just going to say that I kind of think
this crazy
That's really
stuff.
interesting.
Yeah.
I really think I like these mobile glass phone booths. Because how many times have you been in the grocery store and somebody's having a conversation and I don't want to know their business,
Yeah.
but I'm
yeah.
hearing their conversation.
They're not going to go in the booth, trust me.
No.
They're not going in the booth. They're going to stand in the middle of the grocery store and let you listen to whatever it is they're talking about that you don't want to know.
Yeah. So after going through all this, I'm kind of to the point of saying that when you look at energy, we need to have everything because we're going to need more than you realize. You just think of the phones that you plug in every night. We want the electricity to be on when you turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
We was going through a period of time, they thought there'd be a drop in electricity. Well, now there's a big increase with AI and
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
with the chip deal that was in Wichita, which I don't think is going to happen now, but I don't know. But there's one that probably up around Burlington that's going to happen. It's the kind of thing that we're going to need a lot of energy.
Well, and then there's such a big push the last 4 years for electric vehicles. That's one of those things where you have to have the power to charge this vehicle, and that makes me a little leery about, whether or not the power would be there. So
It's stuff we take for granted. So you're on a committee for stuff that we take for granted. I expect to be able to turn the lights
and
on.
I do too, and
Yeah.
I'm learning from that.
Yeah.
Just what you're saying there.
Yeah.
So you have the electric car. How do they pay for the highway? We pay gasoline tax.
yeah.
So when they plug in, let's say like out on the turnpike, you got places to plug in at, and you're from Oklahoma, shouldn't you help pay for our tax? Best kind of tax somebody else pays.
That's right.
This is true.
So,
That is
just
right.
thinking through all that.
So the charging stations do not have tax. Don't you have?
No.
Is it like a gas station or something? You go and plug your car
I
in
don't
for
think
15
there's any
minutes.
tax on that.
No.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we need to add a little.
So that's
something
kind of on
that.
my list
Yeah.
of having a good hearing
And
on.
something no one
Yeah.
would have thought of. I wouldn't think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me neither. Chris and I, over the last few years, we have made it a point to come to Topeka at least a couple times a year. We've been one time to Washington, so we're kind of hoping we get to go back there someday. But we like to come to Topeka, and we like to have conversations with our representatives and our senators and talk with them about what we're doing at the Housing Coalition.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen our little cottages, the emergency shelter cottages.
You can be so proud of them.
Thank you.
Yes. And then right across the street, were we building the Sutherland Estates when you were there?
No, it was kind of a little open house for the 12. And you're talking about the development back to the north?
To the north.
They had started on that, but
There wasn't a whole lot there, I don't think, when he came.
Yeah.
You could tell where it was going to go.
Yeah. So we've got 7 small houses there, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom. And currently we're just writing grants and applying for funds to build the remaining 5. But we love to come to Topeka and just have a conversation with our representatives so that they know what we're working on, where we're going. And the one thing, and you've shared this, the one thing that we expect all of our representatives to know is everything about everything.
Right.
And that is impossible. You're learning about utilities. You know about the finance. Is there one of those other 2 that you feel like is going to give you a little bit more of a struggle to?
Well, in the last session, I used to be able to go to lunch once in a while. And I'll tell you, I was working the agenda for utilities, I got to where they'd say, hey, Mike, let's go to lunch. And I'd say, I really got to go do some work. Just the time management of that. I've tried to work through that part of it.
That's a lot.
So if somebody wanted to have a conversation with you about something that they've heard about or that concerns them, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Now, you're going to be shocked, but I'll give you my phone number.
Okay.
I'm a big person on, I work for you. When you come to my office, that's your office, not my office. And you're welcome up there anytime.
How hard is it to make an appointment with you? Because this day sounds very busy to me.
It is very busy.
Yeah.
And so my assistant that I have up there, and she lives in Topeka, I kind of say, Susie, I let her line this up because I don't have time.
Yeah.
But she knows how important my constituents are.
Is there something specific if somebody comes in and they want to talk to you about? I mean, you have people rambling and different things.
Well,
I mean, what do you want to hear?
Well, the best time is this time of the year, believe it or not, or summertime, because we're not in session. If you go up there in January and you want to change something, a lot of times that's too late because, like I told you earlier, there's like 1,200 bills that disappeared in the last session, and we did 100 of them. But it takes time to go through that process. And by the time you have a good idea, we go put it to writing, and then you start it through the process. It's better to kind of start April, May, and kind of develop that as you go.
So that's interesting.
So that it's ready to hit when January hits, you're ready to file the bill.
A lot of our coalition meetings at the Capitol are always in January, February, and March, right when they're in the middle of all of this. And so really we need to be meeting after or this time of year. That's something to really consider for us or anybody else that's wanting to go up to the Capitol and meet with their legislators. January, February, March sounds like a terrible time to be up there.
You plan to. Is what I would say.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to do, because the other part is there is going to be some that's going to be fast tracked, usually through leadership or something.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of putting it together and doing it right. Sometimes you get in a big hurry with something, you won't do it right. But
so if people want to follow bills, where do they go?
kslegislator.org.
Okay.
And that is a big deal because you can go on there and say, okay, Senate Bill 345. You can tell exactly where that's at in the process. Has it had a hearing? Has it been worked? It's come out of the Senate. It's went to the Senate floor. It's went over to the House, to their committee. You can see exactly where that's at. And
is there a time during that progression of the bills where the public could come and listen to the senators, representatives, the people on the committee that are talking about it? Is there a time that they can come do that?
You can actually watch that, I think, on your computer. Now, I've never sat down and done that.
Okay.
But they tape all those hearings. So if you have a hearing that you think you got a real interest in, you could listen to that and say, well, they didn't talk about this, or,
Well, Chris and I have gone there and testified before. And we were invited. Yeah, we were invited to come there, but it just struck me as we're sitting here talking, what if I just was going to be in Topeka one day and I had a couple hours and wanted to come in and see what's going on? Would I be welcome to do that?
You're welcome to do that.
Okay.
Know what committee's going on, sit in the back. Now, you probably won't be able to get up and testify.
Yeah.
Because you got to get the chairman. The chairman is a powerful person up there.
Okay.
Because they can decide what bills you're going to hear, which ones are going to be worked. And so you're not going to just walk in there and say, hey, I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
You'd be more apt to try to get with that chairman and talk about that with him.
So for us, when we've come up there, it was directly related to Kansas Homeless Corporation And we were coming up there because Cicero was coming in wanting to criminalize homelessness.
Yeah, but we didn't testify in that.
We didn't testify
were
at
just
that,
listening.
but to come in and be able to listen to what's going on and know where to get the information about when that's going to come up, the progress it's going to take, so you know when to plug in, when to pay attention. And so that would be for anybody listening, any topic that concerns you, moves you, you've got an opinion about, you want to know about. That website is where you can find that information out. And Michael, you were going to give us your number.
Do you want to do it on the?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, good.
You know, this I get paid the big bucks for this. So
Good.
It's 316-377-7987.
Okay.
This has been a great interview.
So-
Thank you so much for taking the time to come visit with us and
Absolutely.
coming to our conference, and you gave lots of great information. I'm really impressed by you. I don't always, we've had some great guests, but you really have taken the time with the people in McPherson. I've watched you when you went to that event that the Chamber put on. You came over to the cottages and you were interested in what we were doing. And we, as a person who lives in McPherson County, I appreciate that very, very much. This is not a commercial for anything, I have to make that clear, but I'm just saying that I'm really happy that we have somebody like you representing us up there.
Well, thank you. And what I would tell you that this is all about working together and moving forward, and it takes all of us.
Yeah.
Everybody and all your listeners, everybody to
Yeah. Well,
work
and
for
I
a
would
better
like
tomorrow.
I would like to just end by saying, guys, Michael is one of our representatives. If you ever want to have a conversation, they are human people just like you and I. They're trying to do their very best at the job we've given them. And so take a minute, call them, and have that conversation. If you're in Topeka, stop by, see if you can give them a message. It's just pretty simple to make that connection, and that way you know they are hearing you, they're representing you, and you don't sit home and just grumble about it. So there you go. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Housing for Good. You can reach out to us at housingforgood@mcphersonhc.org. Leave us a review. Tell us how we're doing. Let us know if there's somebody you'd like to hear from. And maybe one of these days we'll get Michael back again.
That would be awesome.
Be here anytime you want me.
Thank you.
Thank you.